Welcome to today's episode of Make Today Mammoth. I am your host, Dallas Hardcastle, and we are going to be teaching entrepreneurs and business owners, and even as a special bonus, if you're a single parent, how you can build from scratch a multiple seven-figure brand and be able to own your day, own your time, own your experience, but most of all, how today is going to be the day that we make today mammoth. So everybody, welcome, and I am excited that you are here, as this is only our second episode that we want to welcome everyone that is checking this out. And if you listen to this, if you are getting any kind of value, if you are finding this as being something that is worth a share to other people, please feel free to share. If you are someone who likes to just give and likes to help and wants to be able to get other people's attention to it, please feel free to hit a subscribe button. Please feel free to leave us a 5-star review. How that works is every single time you leave a 5-star review for the show, it helps bump it up in the algorithms. And that means that more people can hopefully find us so that we have the ability to help more people. That is ultimately why we're doing this. You know, we do this podcast for free, of course. In fact, it costs us money, of course, to do this. So we're doing this to help people so that we hope that we can affect and impact the most people. So if you want to take a minute and leave a 5-star review, we would very much greatly appreciate it. So in today's episode, we are going to be talking primarily about the two areas of where we are with growing this brand and how we chose it, and then how we make sure that we are always being intentional with starting with ourselves to make today mammoth. So as promised in our first episode, we're going to be bringing you along on the journey, and why I want to do this is so important to you, because years ago when I was trying to figure out business, when I was trying to figure out income, when I was trying to figure out my place in this whole financial hierarchy and how to do things and how to make money and how to do it better and quicker and more efficiently and how to be happier doing it and how to not be working, 70 and 80 hour weeks doing it. While I was trying to do all of this stuff, I would have just given my left leg to be able to have had some more guidance than what I did. My mom and dad are amazing people, but neither of them were really entrepreneurs. They were just, that wasn't where my business acumen was going to come from. So, and I really didn't have any friends. They were all folks that actually tended to do really well in school. So they were the ones who were graduating at the top of the class and then going on to the great college, university, and then probably going on and getting a great job out of school. That was kind of their trajectory. And then there I was trying to figure out stuff, trying to figure out why I was in college, trying to figure out what direction to go, trying to figure out what in the world I was going to do to make money, trying to figure out, okay, now I can do this thing to make money. And I'll outwork everybody, right? I'll outwork them. Well, at some point in your life, I guess when I was back in my 20s, that's an okay formula. But what I want to be able to help you try to figure out much more quickly is that doesn't have to be the formula. In fact, the formula I want to share with you is that while designing a brand like this, part of the mistake that we will make is that we will get ourselves into a place where we are thinking that the harder we work, the more results we're going to get, the more money we're going to make. And there will be a period in your journey here with me, I hope, much sooner than later, is that you're going to find that when we get ourselves to this position of working just a ton of hours, that tends to be the thing that is holding us back. That tends to be the thing that is screwing up progress, is screwing up our income, it's screwing up our happiness. It's ratcheting up the stress levels, the anxieties, these feelings of overwhelm, and sometimes massive overwhelm. Believe me, I still feel stress. I still feel anxiety. I still feel sometimes massively overwhelmed. But I can identify those really quickly, and usually those are not work intensive related things, meaning it's not because I'm finishing a 13-hour workday, whereas, many years ago, it was probably because I was on hour 12, 13, 14 of a workday and I was starting to melt down. So in this brand, I want to take you through a little bit of the journey of where and how we arrived at this Make Today Mammoth. And so what does that mean? Is that just some marketing cute thing? And Dallas, you were just sitting in your room with, some of your marketing team and said, hey, I've got something catchy, Make Today Mammoth. It rolls off the tongue. It's alliterative. Let's go with that. Not remotely. How I am programmed and how I tend to do really well is, and this was a journey, right? I had to figure this out too. But when I was trying to work towards making money to increase my finances, to, get myself into that place where few people were, the first thing was making money, right? Making money was number one. Make the money, make the money, make the money. Well, that kind of got me to the money part after a while, but it also, ironically, was the thing that put a ceiling on it. And that ceiling was that I was doing the thing to make the money, but I wasn't doing the thing that I was just impassioned by, that I was just in love with, that I just couldn't, I wanted to be doing. I woke up early, psyched, and I went to bed not being able to sleep. And I was just so pumped up because I was doing this thing that I was going to change the world and impact others and help others and grow others and, and leave a legacy and all of this other great stuff and have my daughter see, what great, amazing things I was doing and how I was helping other people and helping change the world. I wasn't doing that. And that, as it turns out, and please take real note of this one, if you're, depending where you are in your journey, that is the thing that stopped progress. Deciding to go and make money is the thing that screwed it up. If you've heard it before, if you've not heard it before, please, make this the time that you really, it sinks into you deep into that nervous system. If you're at a point in your life where you're thinking, Dallas, you don't get it. You don't get it, Dallas. I need to make money. I got to make money. I got to make money, bro. I got to go sling some dollars and sling me some sales and make some cheddar here because I want to travel, man. I want the big house and the big car and I want all the other stuff. No, I promise you, I do get it. That is probably going to be the thing that makes it hardest to do because you're chasing a dollar. And for most of us, we think that that's going to be the answer. But if you ever arrive there, it's going to be a much longer, harder journey. And when you do get there, the degree of fulfillment and happiness, unfortunately, is very possibly going to be void. It's not a guarantee, but it's very likely. I would like to propose a different way in what we're doing with this. Is, for the past now several years, of course, as I've figured this stuff out, the leading questions are, what will just light me up? What just sets me on fire? What has me wanting to leap out of bed? What has me wanting to reach out to people, to interview, to talk to work with, to collaborate with, to help, to uplift? What's the thing that just sets me on fire, that literally has my soul just excited because I feel so happy and so fulfilled and so driven and so passionate? I feel on purpose for what I'm doing. So when I'm in a room with these other entrepreneurs, with these other business owners, if I'm speaking in a small setting of maybe 10 or 12, if I'm in front of a room with several hundred business owners, manufacturing the energy and the excitement is just not required because it's already there. It's already there. And I'm not talking nirvana. I'm not saying every day is a 10 and I never feel tired and I'm always inspired and I'm always jumping out of bed and I'm always having trouble sleeping because just life is so amazing and everything's perfect. I'm not saying that. I am saying that it is a vast difference being in that world vis-a-vis the world that I lived in before, where if I was working a 60-hour week to make that money, maybe 10 hours of that week I kind of felt glee or excitement. But that other 40, 50, I was doing what had to be done. I was grinding and just I was moving the ball forward because that's just simply what was required to do. So in building this brand, in building this from scratch, if you are getting ready to start a new business on your own, getting ready to start a new brand, or if you're already existing in one, it can absolutely work for both. What I encourage you to do is to put yourself into the place where you can actually move that needle to the place, because this is the lie. The lie is that it's money or happiness. It's success or being fulfilled. It turns into this either or argument that simply is a lie. It is one of the biggest lies in business. It's not either or. I promise you, it's not either or. I promise you, it's and. I promise you, it's. I have got myself into this place where I am so happy about my business and how we're helping others and what it's doing for our community and for myself and for my family and for my friends. The person I am and I have become and am becoming because of this business is the thing that leads to all of the financial successes and allows you to be able to be curious and creative and excited, to not wanting to be the slave to the business, but wanting to be the person who's able to build it in cooperation with a team, to be able to have a team that's succeeding, to have a team that's being fulfilled, a team that's doing the things that they love to do. All of these things that give you the opportunity to grow in a way where you're doing what you love so much that the money really starts to take care of itself quite a bit. That may sound trite. That may sound like the thing you've heard a bunch of different times, but I assure you, I've done this several different ways, and I've invested a whole lot of money to be in the room with a lot of really amazing business owners over the years, with masterminds and conferences and workshops and coaching and live events and on and on and on. And the people that are thriving ain't doing it being miserable 70 hours a week for the most part. Now there's some of those people out there, but as I'm hinting at, they ain't happy people. Some of them maybe are doing 70, 80 hours a week, and they're just miserable as hell. And they aren't getting to experience the gifts of their business and the treasures, because they are so busy working all the time and probably ignoring friends and family along the way. So pick the thing that lights you up. And then the second part of all of this is, don't make the mistake of, again, these are the things I've heard so many times. Don't make the mistake of saying, well, once I am, or the three words, and when you hear these will stick with you, as soon as. Anytime you hear words as soon as, that means you're casting something off into the future. As soon as this success happens, as soon as this really amazing thing happens, as soon as I make this connection, or I get this much money, or the business gets to this point, or I make this hire, or I have this much in the bank, or this software is finished, or this new build. Every time we forecast into the future, every time we cast things off into the future and say as soon as, we tend to do ourselves a disfavor almost all the time. And with that comes to making today mammoth, has very much to do with, first of all, make you mammoth. Making you mammoth is the thing that allows you to make today mammoth. Saying as soon as my business gets to this certain point, or my finances get to this certain point, or my life, or my partners, or whatever it is, as soon as our accounts hit these things, then I can really begin to work out more, exercise more, eat better, fill in the blank. Those are all of the lies. Those are all of the fables that are keeping you playing a little smaller and under a little bit more stress, because the first piece to the equation is going to be you. The first piece to the equation is going to be, do you feel great? So when the stress does come, you have the stamina to go longer. When the stressful events do happen, is your body in such a way, is your mind in such a way that you can just keep rolling through these punches, because the punches come, my friend. The punches come. And to put yourself into a position that isn't ready for these punches is just providing yourself a woeful disservice, because they come all the time. Any business owner that's doing anything, if they're telling you they're not having major challenges or struggles, they're either lying to your face, or they're just not playing the game very hard. They're not trying to do anything very great. So they're just kind of having one of these businesses. And if that's the kind of business you want to have, that's fine. I may not be your guy, because we want to talk about a business that we can really, really grow and to take us into a completely different place in life. And to do that, our body and our mind are required to be trained with fitness, exercise, flexibility, mobility, strength, muscular, cardiovascular, with our mind, that we train ourselves to be able to remain calm, to be able to bring ourselves into peace. And we learn to do that reactively at first, because the hit comes and then we need to think about it. Eventually, we want this to be something that just automatically happens. It's like, call like an autonomic body system, the thing that just happens already. My heart just beats and I don't have to think about it. The stressful event comes and I can just begin to breathe. I can not feel like my chest is going to explode. I cannot feel like my mind is going to explode, because I've trained myself. I've trained myself over and over and over for the stressful event, that my body and my mind can react to it. And hopefully over time, it just becomes just automatic. I don't need to think about how to respond, because the response over time just becomes automatic, right? So making today mammoth, we want to have ourselves choose the thing that we just freaking love, so that we could work with the people that we love, so we can exact the change that we love. And then we put ourselves, our minds and our bodies, in a place where we can absolutely be at our best. Now, we're going to go deeper into a lot of this stuff in very near future episodes. But, we're talking about lifting weights, strength. We're talking about cardiovascular. We're talking about meditation. And or maybe it is, journaling for you. And or maybe it is cold plunges and cold showers, to be able to get that system ready, so that you're moving from reacting in a way where it's fight or flight, to be able to get yourself into that breathing, that rest and digest. So moving from, oh my God, the stressful event, to, yep, these come, they happen all the time, now let's work through it. Doesn't mean you're not going to feel stress. It doesn't mean you're not going to feel anxiety. But something that I'll refer to quite a bit during these shows is something that I call is rate of perceived exertion, RPE, rate of perceived exertion. So when the bad event happens, when the gut punch occurs, when you're laying on the floor in the fetal position and thinking, oh my God, I'm glad that episode's over, and then someone comes up and then kicks you in the sternum or in the teeth, and you're like, oh my God. You want that rate of perceived exertion, how much you feel like you're having to exert, how much energy and effort you feel like you're having to exert, how much of that is real. So rather than the stressful event happening and on a 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, you're a 10 and you're like, and freak out and you melt down, and then hours or days, or for some people weeks, go by and they're just still reliving and in it and in it and in it. You're the person that the stressful event happens, and rather it being a 10, with the 10 being the highest, maybe over time it becomes like a 7, and then over more times a 5, and then over more times it's maybe a 4 or a 3. meaning that the stressful event happens, you breathe, you accept it, you look at it, you see, what can I learn from this thing? How can I keep this from happening again? You move on, and hopefully within 15 minutes, you're on to the next thing, which maybe, weeks or months ago, it would have just knocked out for the day. And you just would have spent the whole day just recoiling because of the bad thing that just happened. So everybody, again, my name is Dallas Hardcastle. I am so grateful for you being here. I'm so excited for you to be here on this journey with me. And this is just the beginning. We're going to continue talking more and more and more about what are we doing every day? What are we doing to build this brand? What is this strategy behind releasing a podcast and the YouTube channel? Make sure you check us out over on the YouTube channel if you want to see this pretty face too. But what is the strategy behind this? And then being able to get out in front of more people to help more people, and how we're going to begin to build an audience rapidly of people that we can legitimately help out. So I'm so excited for you to be here. Please take these words and use them. Take action. Get your business into a place that you love, that excites you. Start getting yourself into a place where you will begin to build up that RPE, that rate of perceived exertion, so we can begin to lower that, so we can work and get bigger results by exerting less effort, so that over time it becomes easier and easier to move from one day to the next. Everybody, I appreciate you being here so much. Thank you for joining us. Make sure and check out our next episode. And as always, you know how we're going to end it. Make today mammoth. We'll talk to you soon.